they're still they are starting to teach, but not so much, but they're asking us to go in and help them. Initially they had some people, professors from US working with them, 2 professors from US, but now they ask us to go in and help them as well. So that's what we do. And so it takes about a year for you to depends on faculty. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Maybe now I'm trying to recall back. It's been quite some time when we first started, and then she mentioned about colleague. I know this colleague I used to work with her. Okay, if you look back in time, because we were asked, the boss, used to be the colleague, okay, we were working very closely, and my team were asked to start project-based learning. So I started together with her. I started for her own course, and she started for her own course, alright, in project-based learning. So I do it the way I think is correct to do it. She also started the way she thinks is correct to do project-based learning. But she went one step further. She went to check out, in the world, is there any other proper framework for project-based learning? And she stumbled onto this CDIO framework, and then, well, that was history after that. And so she started this from the course level, okay, and then later on, course means for us is module level, okay, and then after that, we went to look at the framework and see how do we scale it up to the whole course. So to ensure the whole program, so and also the whole school, and eventually if the whole school can get it done, the whole institution. So it is and now looking back, how to ensure that the whole thing will take off. A few things must be in place. Number one, you must have a team of people in charge of curriculum, okay, to believe in this, to adopt this, that this is perhaps maybe a good framework. First of course, must understand the framework. Then after that, you pilot it for a few courses within your program. So you must have a few people who are committed to take this step. The second thing that ensures success, I would say, is the management. Okay, your dean and higher than your dean, all the way up must believe that this is a good framework to adopt. Okay, and their support is very important, because if their support is not there, then all the staff who are doing this will not get this recognition. If there is no recognition, nobody wants to come about. So therefore, the top management in the institution must be sold on this. Okay, they must be sold on this. All the way down to, because my boss is sold on it, and my boss's boss is also sold on it, until the principal level. Right? And till now, we are selling to other people. Okay, so that's how the fire spreads. But for it to be successful, I would say you need to have from the top down to the individual, a core group of people. Then after that, in parallel with that, you need to train people. That's when we were working very closely with the links department to train the people to understand what is this CDIO framework. Because without proper understanding, it's very difficult to start. Many people, it's such a big thing, So we have to slowly understand and start small. Maybe a few people just start on certain courses. Okay? So for us, there are a few people who just start on introduction engineering. Okay? And then a few people just work on design project. So they all start on different projects within the CDIO framework. And integrated teaching of the various courses was the later part. We just started about 1 year plus back. It is another late venture by us. And all these are learning in progress. We have never done. It's not a milestone. It's a milestone, but it is not a destination. We don't know where the destination. Okay? So it's always a journey. Alright? So we are still learning along the way. Okay? hope given you a glimpse of how we progress. So it needs a lot of people working. I don't know in your faculty whether there's a training department to understand the concepts and the framework. So you have a group of people who understand the CDIO framework to work closely with the staff, okay, to impart the various CDIO skills. Okay, so the training part is also important. Training of faculty is important. Training of faculty is also one of the standards in the CDIO.
I just want to add to what Shivan just said. I think my department has, when it comes to the education model and faculty training in the Polytechnic, we do have, we do need to look at the larger picture, okay, and we are responsible for the adoption and rolling out implementation of initiatives, educational initiatives. So I think his point, in the sense that we need to be able to place, and the advantage of us is working with us, faculty working with us, is that we can show them where they're heading with this framework. And we could embed this framework in the whole education model of the Polytechnic. Okay, so a few years back, when the ministry came to us and said, we want to review your teaching and learning model, we were very easily able to pull out the CDIO as the model for the Polytechnic and to show them that both engineering and non-engineering programs can use the CDIO framework. So that's where my department comes in. That's where we have overall view of education in the Polytechnic and how different initiatives fall into place in the what we call the Polytechnic education model. So just to give you a perspective of what my department does.
Okay, moving on. How many students are involved in this CDIO framework? Well, in SP, it varies from programs to programs. We have programs with only 40 students. We have also programs with 400 students. Okay, so it varies. So I think number is not the main issue. If the will to transform is there. Okay, so it can be crafted for small number of students as well as big number of students. Okay, so top management and direction, I would say, is key to this whole success. Staff who are required to do research and write technical paper do not have time for this venture. So how to do it? Well, time is always a problem. Okay, and this is also our problem with our staff, because our staff do not just teach. Many of our staff are required to do many things. They also required to collaborate with industries, to work on projects with industries. They do a lot of the D. Instead of R and D, they do the D. Okay, the development of application, working closely with industry. So our staff, they don't do research, but they do a lot of development. Okay, and we also do a lot of outreach as well. I believe we all don't have to do outreach, but our staff have to go to the school, to promote to the school, to explain to the students what is engineering, what is a different type of engineering, to give them a proper, correct perspective of engineering. So we have to do a lot of promotion. We also have to do, transformation of our curriculum, things like that. So there are many other things that we do. So time is always an issue. So at the end of the day, it's a question of implementation. So the program design in this case is very important. When you design the whole framework and its implementation, you must make sure that it is equitable. The distribution of load is equitable, so that staff do not see that they are being unduly or unfairly penalized when they are embarking on this particular journey. So it's a question of managing the implementation and distributing the load fairly.
And also add to that, I think As I said in my first introduction, about 90 over universities around the world have adopted the CDIO framework, right? So can you imagine there are many, many faculty who are also implementing CDIO in their own organization, in their own university. And I'm sure they also face the same situation as you have to do research and write technical papers as well. Okay? So I think that's what TY says. Much of this is really interest and importance that you place on this. Alright, so let me give an example. They were telling me of Liverpool University. It was interesting. When the professor came, maybe you can question him on this more. But we were told that in Liverpool, the student fees went up about 30% or whatever, went up quite a lot. And when the fees went up, the students now demanded, I'm paying so much fees, I want good teaching taking place. Okay, in the classroom. Now my fees are so high, I want good teaching taking place. And with that, all the faculty started to turn to the CDIO representative and say, hey, come, I need some training, I need to know what's happening, I need to know more what to do, active learning and so forth. So this guy got so busy now, he's training them, etc. in framework, in implementation. So I guess in a sense it's what Chiwa says, yes, it's also a push from the top, management push, but also a personal thing for the faculty. To what extent do you want good learning, student motivation taking place in the classroom?
Thanks. Okay, can you give some examples of how CDIO is being implemented in the chemical engineering? Well, I'm not from the chemical. Both Khalid and I don't think we are doing justice if we tell you how it's being implemented. So what we can advocate to you is that, well, stay tuned. I think in component 2, we are trying to arrange an expert from the chemical engineering school to come and share with you how they implement CDIO in the school. Okay, then you can hear from the horse's mouth with full details about how chemical engineering is being implemented. Okay, and this is the last question I have. Okay, in the implementation of CDIO, SBI noted, I believe Dr. Linda Lee probably has shared this. She said something that there was some bickering between courses, not only in SP but also in Malaysia and Vietnam. So it's not a very smooth sailing thing. So can you give some ways how to welcome them? Can SPF facilitate this painful process? As I said earlier on, now I know I don't have magic tablet for everybody to eat, and after taking that, everybody will be sold and brainwashed. I would say top management support and will to implement CDIO is a key to the success of CDIO implementation in the institution. So they themselves must, perhaps maybe, I would say, the top management must be exposed to this framework to understand how well this framework is being implemented worldwide, okay? How other institutions have implemented, they must be made aware of it, okay? By hearing about it, I think not good enough, alright? By telling you guys to go attend, I don't think it's good enough. I would say asking them to attend, to be aware, to have a first-hand knowledge of the implementation. I think that probably will help to smoothen this process. Okay, maybe Khalid can add.
Can I just qualify Linda's statement? I think if you got the impression that there's bickering in Malaysia and Vietnam, please take that out. We cannot for sure say that there's bickering there. Okay, I don't think there is, because as far as what TY says, the workshops that we did when the dean was around and he was there throughout the whole workshop, it went very, very well according to Linda. So I think I don't want to say that there's bickering happening there. Okay, so please, that I wouldn't want to claim. The other one, I would say in SP, again is management support. And with management support, things do go. Of course, there will be some differences, but the vision and the final outcome must be clear to everyone. Why are we doing this, and what are we trying to achieve? There can be different ways of doing it, but let's agree on some ways that we think are workable and achieves our mission and our vision. Okay, I think that's clear. Once it's like any teamwork that happens, we all must have a common goal that we want to achieve together. And for us, it was our students' learning, students' motivation, students' interest in engineering. That was what we were trying to achieve. There can be different ways, but let's discuss and come to agreement. So I think that would be how I would answer this particular question. Yeah. As what TY says, a very good place to learn more about CDIO and to find out more from other universities will be at our annual conference. And this year, the annual conference is next year, the annual conference is going to be held of all places at MIT and Harvard University. Okay, so that will be a very wonderful opportunity to get your dean to come along and to go. Many rectors and deans do attend the conference to find out more about CDIO. So that will be a fantastic opportunity. The whole event is going to be shared by Harvard and by MIT. So there will be half the time in Harvard and the other half the time in MIT. Fantastic.
In fact, it's a long time. If you miss this opportunity, I don't know when they will go back to Harvard and MIT. So it is a very, very rare occasion, like eclipse of the sun, that kind of thing. So I think strongly urge maybe Chulalongkorn to seriously look into it, allow for it, budget for it, and send as many staff as possible to hear from many professionals, not just us. Okay, there are many renowned speakers during the conference. I think there are sometimes, I would say many of them are more polished than myself and Hurley. So you can hear from them and get encouraged and motivated by how all these institutions implement CDIO in the people. It's like going for the Muslim people, they go for Hajj, Haji. So when they go there, they feel energized and charged up, because then they will know that, hey, they are not alone, There are so many people so many institutions have gone to it, So there must be something in it, all right? Otherwise, all these are renowned universities all over the world. They are not stupid. There are so many other ways of doing things. So, right? So go along, go and attend some of these conferences. And I would say, I think I ever heard Hurley say, hey, after I attended, I come back transformed, I don't know. I ever say. So, okay, so maybe that's the end of this part, unless Hurley want to add. Okay.
So will you please inform the date?
I will. At the end of today, I will give you. I have a slide there actually at the end of the day to tell you what are the events that are being held, both regionally as well as at the international conference. I can tell you that the conference speakers are quite interesting. I'll be in the section on active learning. I'll be taking from some work from this professor from Harvard called Eric Mazur, and he is going to be one of the keynote speakers. Ruth Graham is also going to be one of the speakers at the conference in MIT. I want to point you to her paper. It is a study that she has done on engineering education, and she's looking at the systemic change, of lasting systemic change in engineering education. She came up with a report on that. The report was commissioned by MIT and the Royal Academy of Engineers, UK. So if you take note, this is very recent. In fact, this article was sent to us by Ed Crawley, who is the one that started CDIO in MIT. So just this morning he sent it to us, and I thought I'll show it to you. Okay. So if you look at what she's saying that well, there's a consensus that traditional undergrad programs are not equipping our students with the skills necessary for the 21st century. Okay, and she goes on to study many programs, interviewing experts, 15 different countries, and another, and SP was one of the people that she interviewed actually. So she interviewed me and a few of our colleagues together. And then she goes on to talk about things like, what makes successful change, yeah? what do you do, and so forth.